Hello, welcome to this CorelDraw tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a repeat pattern in CorelDraw. We'll start by creating some abstract shapes. For this, I'm gonna use the freehand tool. Going to draw using the tool. Making sure that I connect with that first initial point. Now go to Window, Dockers, Properties, choose an outline, so for this I'm gonna choose no outline. And a fill type, I will use uniform fill. Now, as we start to draw the next shape, we choose a different color for this one. I'm gonna continue to draw a few more shapes. Once you've got a few elements to play with, then we can start to look at the textures and effects. One of the best things to play around with is the effects in CorelDraw. So I'm going to select a shape, I'm going to head up to Effects, and you can see here that we have Art Strokes. There are a lot of options within that. We also have Creative. We have Distorts, Texture, and Transform. And within those settings, there are a lot of other settings to tweak and play around with, and you can create some really great results. For this design, I'm going to head up to Art Strokes, and I'm going to choose Dabble. Now if I move this to one side, you can see we have a few style options within Dabble. We've got Sprayed Stroke, Round Stroke, Default Cotton Ball, Sponge, but I will use the Ice Cube. And I can change the size of the effect. Randomize. I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to hit OK. You can do the same to the others, trying to get different scales and different textures happening within this. You can just turn the size up as well as randomize. Okay, the thing that elevates this a step further is working with the transparency. So over in Properties, and I head to Transparency, and I'm going to change our mode. So this is something I suggest that you have a play around with, because depending on what is above your object or below and what colors are involved, you will get very different looks. So I'm going to head straight down to Multiply. There's also things like Overlay, Hard Light, Soft Light, Color Dodge. And I'd suggest that you play with them on each object as they will all have a slightly different effect. And the more you layer these up and what objects you have, the greater that effect will be. So I'm going to go ahead and create a few more elements for my print. And then I'm going to show you how to turn that into a repeat. Let's start to think about how that turns into a repeat print. Start by drawing a square and grabbing the rectangle tool. I'm going to head up to our dimension tools at the top here. Make sure that the lock ratio is off. And I'm going to type in a specific object size, so 150 in both boxes. That's the size that I would like my tile to be. I'm also going to make a note of this size for future because we're going to need it. Let's change the fill color to none, and let's change the outline to black, so that we can see what we're working with. We're going to position our design so that we have elements overlapping the top and the left edge of this tile box. So I'm going to select the tile box, send it backwards, and I'm going to move our objects accordingly. You might want to add in some more objects, or copy and paste some elements that you already have. Be careful not to overlap the bottom or the right edge, and this will become clear shortly. Now, with these overlapping elements, we're going to repeat them so that they overlap on the opposite edge. That's what makes that a seamless tile. To do this, we're going to go up to our object position area. So let's select some objects. So the x-axis is our left and right axis, and our y is our up and down. So I'm going to take these two objects here, I'm going to copy and paste them. And I'm going to type into my x-axis, plus 150. If you remember, 150 was the width of my tile box. So when I press enter, it's going to move the position by the exact right amount of millimeters. So we're going to do that again, and we can do that with this selection of objects. So any objects that cross that left side need to be repeated on the right, and any objects that cross the top edge also need to be repeated down below. So again, we're going to copy and paste, and in our x-axis, we're going to put plus 150. Press enter. And any objects that cross over this top edge too need to be repeated. So this time, I'm going to use the y-axis. And because I'm moving it down, I'm going to put minus 150. Press enter. And now we have the correct elements overlapping at the bottom as well. You then need to fill in the rest of your artwork. I've gone ahead and finished the rest of the print design. I've also cut and pasted our tile box so that it sits at the front. I'm going to do that one more time, so I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to select all of my artwork. And I'm going to group those objects. Then paste. It will automatically paste in the original position. Then I'm going to select the grouped artwork, right-click, down to Power Clip, and place inside frame. There we have it. To add it to your pattern fill, first save the file. Now select your shape, go to Fill. Choose Vector Pattern Fill. Now press Choose. Select Saved File. Press Save as New. Type any name and choose Category. Press OK. Now it's time for you to give these techniques a try on your own designs in CorelDraw.